welcome to Football DNA. I'm delighted to be here today in the office of one of the architects of one of the finest seasons, not only at Lincoln Football Club but in football in general, Mr. Danny Cowley. Danny, thanks for joining us.
Pleasure.
Thank you. So I've got to be careful because Danny is my manager as well. So I've got a list of questions that are nice questions then.
Yeah.
So we'll go with that.
Let's run with it.
Nice one. So, first taste of league management. I know we'll talk about your path and your coaching pathway to get to this point, but
sure.
First, like I said, first taste of league management. How have you found it?
Good. Yeah, I think we've enjoyed it. It's a long time in coming. It's sort of taken us 10 years to get to this point, so I feel really proud to have got here first and foremost. And I think we found it a real challenge, like we expected to. I think with any promotion, everything improves. But I think this is probably the toughest promotion now, going from the National League to the Football League. The club obviously have been in the Football League before, but haven't been there for 6 seasons. So it's a big transition, both off the pitch and on it. And we're in the middle of that at the minute, and we're improving, and we're trying to learn fast.
Brilliant. I mean, you know, we're in a decent position as it goes now, 7th in the league, which is a fantastic start, really. I mean, have you changed anything of your philosophies over them years for this season at all? I know we've been pretty much working to what we like, and your philosophies have been bang on. So have you had to change anything? The game plans had to change, tailor the training or anything to suit?
Do you know what? I don't know if I know everyone talks about philosophies in football, and I'm just not sure football's that complicated. So for me, it's always trying to play away in a style that suits the players that you've got. And I just think, you know, if I have to have a philosophy, I suppose mine's being tactically flexible and adapting to what you've got. And obviously, when we first arrived in Lincoln, we had a goalkeeper that could kick it box to box, and a beast of a target man that could win 90% of his headers. So naturally, we went quite quickly into the final third and tried to play from there. We've still got both of those players at our disposal, of course. I think we've had to evolve and adapt and find different methods. Maybe last year, Plan A worked pretty much 95% of the time.
Yeah,
so we run with that pretty much each week. Whereas this league, you know, centre halves are a little bit cuter and a little bit more intelligent. You get a lot of centre halves in League Two that are very experienced, that have played higher and maybe picking up their football pension in League Two, and they've seen it all before. So I think we've had to adapt and have more strings to our bow, and we're working towards that. And I think it's always that, you know, in football you kind of, if you've got Plan A and you've only got Plan A, people call you one-dimensional. Yeah. If you've got Plan A, Plan B, Plan C, then sometimes you can get caught between, and the players don't really know any of them with as much detail as you would like them to know. So it's for me it's having two clear ways of playing and being able to adapt to which one you need in that game.
Absolutely. I mean, it makes so much sense, doesn't it? Like you say, you can have so many styles, you're the master of none of them, really.
Well, that's the fear, isn't it? And, you know, last year I think people would have thrown at us at times we were one-dimensional.
I'd take that for the season.
Well, for us, we didn't need to change because we felt that the plan that we were using was working most weeks. Now we are having to adapt because, you know, we've had teams that have come here and have been able to deal with what we've thrown at them, and now it's about trying to find different ways of outwitting your opponent. And
so new challenges.
I think so, and I think that's really exciting. You know,
absolutely.
You know, for us, it's a new league to us. So you always, whenever you get promoted, you're trying to get used to the managers that you're playing against and their styles and their ways, and also it's a new group of players that you're trying to get to know and to understand, and you're then trying to, you know, even for us, you know, we managed to keep the majority of the group together from last year, but we've added 7 or 8. So you're forever evolving and you're forever trying to improve and trying to learn.
Excellent, brilliant. So just if we touch on the coaching pathway, I mean, like you said, 10 years you've been a sort of manager now.
Yeah, this will be my 11th season.
How did that start? Because was you playing?
So
you took over.
I would have played at a non-league level. Yeah, loved playing. You know,
I've seen you still in training, definitely trying to beat me. It don't happen really.
absolutely zero power. But no, so for me, I would have played non-league, had a really good career, really enjoyed it, probably ended before I expected it to, about 29.
What was that? Was that injury or?
Yeah, I would have been playing for Hornchurch. We'd just won the treble, so I've been at Hornchurch, I had 3 spells at Hornchurch, one as a young player, then I went back there in the middle of my career and then finished there. And yeah, they went bankrupt as a club. They got relegated. They would have been in the Conference South in my middle spell there. Then they got relegated all the way back to the bottom of non-league, and kind of just decided to go back there. I had an affinity with the club. Right. Went back there. We won the treble. Had a really good season. Nicky would have played with me in the middle of midfield. Had a good year. I think from a personal level, won some awards and individual awards, and the team did really well. And really, right at the back end of that season, I thought what I thought was just sort of an innocuous hamstring strain, and we had cup finals coming. I kind of selfishly played on and tried to finish the season. Managed to get through the year. Thought it would just go, and it didn't. And I ended up rupturing my tendon off the bone. So I had lots of different operations, and probably spent 18 months trying to rehab and get fit, and just tough, just couldn't. And you get to a stage where the reality hits really, and you think it's not going to get better, and maybe I'm going to have to look at different options. And I think it hurts, doesn't it? Because you don't expect it. You don't expect it. It doesn't matter what level you play at. Like football is everything to me. It'll always be the first thing I think about when I wake up, and the last thing I think about before I go to bed. So yeah, that was it. And then you kind of then think, what do I do now? How do I fill the void? And there was definitely, it's painful, isn't it? It sounds over dramatic, but it's like a bit like mourning, isn't it? For someone, you kind of feel like something you love doing has been taken away from you. So
it's one of the worst, isn't it? Especially like you say, you're doing so well, and it take away from you. It's hard.
It was hard. So obviously I taught. So I've been teaching at that stage for about 10 years. So I had some teaching skills and some coaching skills. I've done some coaching qualifications while I was at university. Nicky was quite sought after in that area, and with certain clubs at that level, so they were all trying to sign him. And I remember we'd travelled together at school, and he had a club, Concord Rangers, to go to speak to, and we had one car, so we had to go. I ended up driving him now, and they were desperate to sign him, and they'd just had a new manager, Danny Scopes, and he was new to it. He was still playing, so he was going to be a player manager, and kind of it evolved, and I ended up being joint manager with him.
Really?
And Nicky wasn't going to sign, but then
so he signed for you. So he was like a gentleman
and signed him. I think I only got the job off the back of Nicky being a goal scoring central midfielder at that level. But yeah, we got the job at Concord and kind of had 8 brilliant seasons there.
Is that how long that was?
8 seasons, yeah, 8 seasons at Concord.
That's a lot.
3 promotions. Yeah, so we went from step 5, which was really like a sort of a social club at the time when we first arrived, and we managed to move it forward. Brilliant chairman, he really for the club and really wanted to move the club forward, and it was just a lovely family atmosphere at the club, and loved my time there, and it'll always have a special place in my heart. And it's great to see them. They're still in the Conference South now, so we left them in the Conference South, which is real tough for them as a small club. That's it's a real challenging level for them, and they've done great to maintain their status.
So did you know when you sort of took over and you quite liked it, as it were, and you're enjoying the managing side of it, did you think then this is something I could go and do, or did it take a few years of playing out, or did you think, right, because some people just know straight away, don't they?
I felt like I always had maybe the skill set to be able to do it. I think early on I was lucky in the respect that I've finished playing at 29. A lot of my mates were still playing and had been good players and had played at a higher level. And I called a few favours. So I had Nicky come in, Danny Cowley come in. I had a group of boys that were probably better than the level, and we had a good run. Got to semi-final with the Vars, so we were going away from Wembley.
Fantastic.
We won the league on the last day of the season. We won the league 1-0 last game of the season, which was good.
Great memories, isn't it?
Good. And I think that definitely helped. Had a good start, and you gain confidence, and of course you evolve and improve as you get more experience, and you expose yourself to more of the different challenging situations that you find yourself as a manager.
So after Concord, you said you had a great time there. Was it then tough? You went to Braintree?
Yeah, 8 seasons, and probably just got to the stage where we're taking Concord maybe as far as they were willing to go at that stage. I don't think that they were ready, and the chairman clearly say that they weren't in a position to move on to the next division. And I think by that point we were ambitious and wanted to. Nicky had just finished playing that season, and just had the opportunity to move to Braintree and had a season there. That
season. That's when you finished in the playoffs.
Yeah, finished third in the playoffs. Yeah, so
was they in the conference when you took over?
Oh, in the National League. Yeah, so in the National League, we had one season there. They would have finished 14th the year before under Alan Devonshire. Had done a really good job there.
Yeah, I remember the time.
You're a part-time club. You've got 180 grand budget, which is everything.
Right.
Players, managers, physios, the whole shebang.
Okay, so you're learning to.
So you have, you've got limited resources. You've got no training facilities. It's not an easy place. It's not an easy place to manage. And they're in a division that's probably Alan Devonshire done a brilliant job. He probably already in his tenure there, he'd definitely overperformed in his role. Yeah. So it was a lot of people sort of questioned why we did it, but it just felt like you wanted the level. We wanted that opportunity to go to that level and try to make it work. And for us, I think the best thing was that we managed to keep a lot of players. We managed to keep a group of about 12 of them together. I remember speaking to them the first Thursday at the back end of the season and convincing them that to stay and that we would try to move things further forward. And that was a really, when I look back, that was a really important meeting. And really, sometimes you have that moment in your career and you think, that was a pivotal
really?
Night. I think so, to keep those boys together, Kenny Davies, Matt Paynes, that group, they knew the level. They were really good players. They were much better players than probably.
But that's a great skill set to have early, isn't it? To know that at an early age and to know how important it is, because some managers I've worked with, I think it's all sort of more about them, and they're not so worried about players. We'll get other players in, but to keep the nucleus of that.
I think so. I think for us, it's always, whenever we go into new clubs, it's just trying to. The first thing we do is just an audit. So we will literally speak to everyone from the tea lady right up to the chairman. Speak to everybody. Have sort of good conversation. Find out about the club, exactly what's good, and maybe areas where we can add improvement. And I think what you've got to do is you've got to work out what's good and run with what's good, because you don't want to there's no point in changing for changing's sake. Find out what's good, run with that, and then in the areas that and it's really interesting when you have as many conversations as we have when we first arrive at the club. You see the correlations, you see the patterns, you know the areas which actually do need work and improvement, and then I think if you can come in and show significant change and significant improvements in areas, people start gaining confidence.
Absolutely, I think so. I mean, definitely happened there. Obviously, I witnessed it firsthand. I wasn't there when you first took over, but during, I know I spoke to you and you said, look, you just need some life breathing into it, and you certainly did that. Like you said, you mentioned speaking to everyone from the tea lady, we've got the chef here and everyone buys into it, doesn't they?
I just think everyone needs to be valued, don't they? Everyone's a cog in the wheel here. Like for me, it doesn't matter if you're the tea lady or the chairman, you all have the same importance, you all get treated the same way, and you're all important to the success that hopefully we're going to have. And it's just treating people the right way, really. Just
goes a long way.
You want to be treated yourself.
Absolutely. So I mentioned we touched Lincoln there. So at the time, did you choose Lincoln? Because I know you think about things you really study.
Yeah.
Did you choose Lincoln? I know you had a couple of offers around that time. I think there was Tranmere. Maybe a couple of other things in the fire you could have spoke to. Did you come in Lincoln and think, right, this is one, or did they sort of choose you and said, you're not going to be our manager?
Well, we finished, it was a crazy time. We'd finished third with Braintree in the National League, went through the playoffs, so literally off the disappointment of we were 1-0 up against Grimsby with 15 minutes to go of the second leg. Unfortunately concede, get sending off, losing extra time, and literally the Monday after Lincoln called, and then all of a sudden there'd been a sort of snowball of other clubs, and I'm a full-time PE teacher and in a really stable, secure job, which unless you commit murder, you've got for the rest of your life. Yeah, of course, and that was the first decision. It wasn't really a call, because Nicky and I knew as soon as the opportunity come to being full-time, we were going to take it, because you've kind of wanted to do something your whole life. When the opportunity finally comes and you want to do it as a player, and I wasn't quite good enough as a player, and then you kind of think your opportunity's passed, and then it comes. You have to try to take it, and we did. And the school were really good, brilliant. The school in terms of allowing us to leave and not forcing us to work our notice, which they could have done.
Right.
And yeah, for me, we had some options, but Lincoln, it just felt right. I really liked the people straight away. As soon as I met the people, I could see the chairman Bob Doring had taken over the year Lincoln had got relegated, and I could see the hurt in his eyes and the pain that he felt, and it wasn't his fault. It literally picked up a sinking ship, really. But I knew that he felt that he was to blame, or partly to blame, and it just felt like, I remember coming out of the meeting saying to Nicky as we drove home, I want to help him. I want to make that right. There was something in that. And when I looked at the club, like, it's a massive club. I remember coming here as a Braintree manager and said potentially it was a big club, and I just felt that it had lost its way. It hadn't finished above 13th in the National League in the 5 years it had been relegated, and I just felt that we could add value to it. It felt potentially a club that we could help it do well.
That's a fantastic decision, wasn't it? and you're right. I think everything you said, you've really studied it, and it was, and you put that value into it. And like you say, you mentioned the chairman there, Bob. He is like that, and he's a fan, I think, more than everyone else spoke to him. He loves it.
Oh no, Bob was brilliant, and just really loves the club. And I think Alex Ferguson always says, pick your chairman, and I think that's important. And there's Clive Nates and the other board members who were, Clive. I remember Clive coming over from South Africa and meeting us, and he just knew so much about us. He had so much detail, like frightening amount of detail, and that made me think, wow, you've really done your work. And for us, we live in a lot of detail, and we have, that's how we work. And so to know you're working with people that are like-minded, and that was something that was definitely reassuring.
So you mentioned the detail there as well. I know obviously working with you for the last year or so, like how much detail goes into everything. There's nothing really, no stone left unturned. You work some incredible hours. Is there one thing you would put your success down to especially last season? Would you put it down to one particular thing, or just a blend of things?
I think good people, having lots of good people around. I look at our staff, and we've got a really good staff, and the staff work really, really hard to support the players and give the players the best environment possible. But then it's the players, it's always the players for me, and I think we've got a really good staff that support the players, take the excuses out of the players, but then sign good people, try to sign good players, like-minded people. I don't think, well, certainly the thing I've learned in football management, you can't change people. You can take the edges off of people and shape them a little bit. You can't change them. Most people go back to type, so try to sign, whatever the values are to you, and for us it's always hard work, resilience, determination, durability, all of those, perseverance, all those qualities. Try to sign people with those characteristics, because I think if you put like-minded people together in a changing room, then special things can happen.
And it sure did. For anyone that didn't know already, when we finished league champions in the National League, we got the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. We took on Arsenal, which was probably like the Super Cup for us after we'd won the FA Cup final against Burnley. And then we got to the semi-finals of the FA Trophy as well. It can't really have gone any better. If we'd have won the FA Trophy, that probably be icing on the cake. But you're asking a bit too much then.
I know.
But just if you could sum it up, like, to have all them things, so you've worked so hard to finally achieve that, and obviously I think the icing on the cake was the league the championship was amazing, wasn't it? To finish that.
That feeling. I can remember the thing for me. I'd always feel nervous on match day. As a player, as a manager, you always get that feeling. That
it's a great thing. It's a great thing. You only understand that as a sportsman, don't you?
Exactly. That sort of anticipation.
Absolutely.
And it's the game. It's game day. And I can remember in April waking up. I'd wake up on a Wednesday. We played on the Tuesday. I'd wake up Wednesday morning. I still had it in the stomach. Like, it's not. And I was thinking, I lived the whole of April like wishing my life away. We were trying to just accumulate the points that we needed. Yeah. And the worst thing was, you went into April, everyone thought it was done, and yet we still had to win. We won 7 on the spin in April.
I think people forget that actually.
I know.
7 on the spin was incredible, especially at the time of the FA Cup, and everyone's thinking that's going to take the focus away. Now we played a lot of football.
that was like we went into April, I'd already played 55 games.
That's a lot, isn't it? Yeah.
So we knew they were. We had a few running on empty, didn't we?
Yeah.
A few waiting for operations, and
and I think we mentioned as well. I mean, the fans. There was full houses every week. It was 10,000 plus people waiting to get in everywhere we went.
Yeah, do you know what? I think we worked really hard trying to connect with the supporters and making relationships with supporters. And you'll know how much we do in the community between us all.
Yeah, most of the team.
Yeah, and do you know what? It's just for us to be able to show them our human quality. And I think when the supporters see you in a human context, then they're much more likely to treat you like human beings. Maybe when things ain't going so well. And you know, the amount of times we were behind in April in games, and they stayed with us, and they drove our energy, and they got us over the line. And
they did get us over the line, and as well helped get us over the line.
It was a team effort, wasn't it?
I think that's great. Like you say, you've done so much around the club as well, and I think when the fans can see you working so hard, it's like a player, isn't it? If they can see you working hard, most good fans will be on your side. If you make the odd mistake, they're gonna stick with you anyway.
Yeah.
You know, they drove us on, didn't they?
Oh, they're unbelievable.
I mean, like you said, we was behind. I mean, I asked the question in the middle of that now, but I've probably led you to it a little bit on one of them. But was there a defining moment? I don't think there was one defining moment in the season, but is there any that stick out in your mind where you think that was the turning point where we've...
Forest Green half time was important. Both Forest Green games, because we come back, we're 2-1 down with 10 minutes to go.
Yeah.
At Forest Green, turn it round, don't we? We scored, I think, 87.
And am I right? It was, I think last...
3-2.
And we'd have gone 11 points behind?
We'd have gone 12. Yeah, they would have gone 11 points, 12 points clear at that stage.
That's a lot in it.
Would have been tough to turn around at that stage. Yeah, so I think that was a big game. And then here, we lost to Arsenal, and then we just come off the back of a defeat at Boreham Wood, and we play them here, and we're 1-0 down at half time. Played quite well, but we turned it around second half time 3-1, and I think that was important. Then obviously you look at the Easter period. We played Chester on the Tuesday, went down to 10 men, 1-1-0 just about. On the Friday we were playing again, 2 days rest. Played Torquay, we were 1-0 down. We scored 87, 89, win 2-1. And Bank Holiday Monday we were 1-0 down, and we scored 90th and 92nd to win 2-1. And
that was a way at Gateshead.
We turned a lot of those games around. Gateshead away.
That was incredible. I still remember that like yesterday. I know we say we're tired, we've played a lot of football, but you're saying we've last 10 minutes we scored a couple of goals and playing again.
The determination and all those values that you hold dearly, and
absolutely.
You know, it's
so I know we've instilled that in the players, but the players, like you say, you have to recruit the right
players with those characters. Yeah, if you want, you've got to have players that have those characteristics. You can't just give people those characteristics. I think you can train them and emphasise them and make them really important. But I think they've got to have those minerals in them, within them, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. So what was the feeling? I mean, we've got a couple of different ones. I mean, the Arsenal was all right. That was a massive ask to go and get anything out of that game. Yeah. And probably on the bench, we should have, when they went 1-up, we should have probably took a few up and
we're 45 minutes up. We're 45 minutes 0-0, and then they scored just before half time. Yeah. And if we could have just got into half time, I think it might have been a different team talk. But it's not easy. I remember you saying to me, nudging me, saying Chamberlain, his hamstring, he was come off injured, and you don't want to see any player come off injured. But in that moment, you think, well, that might help us, and then you turn to your left and Ozil's coming, and you think, oh my goodness.
It's trouble.
And I remember him coming, he'd come to the fourth official, didn't he? And he'd forgot his shin pads.
I'm saying, he
don't look interested, he don't fancy this. He literally come on, he hardly run, and he single-handedly murdered us, didn't he?
Think of the ball away, didn't he? And just spreading things.
Everywhere he went, he'd make like he'd turn a 1v1 into a 2v1, a 2v2 to a 3v2, and he was just
class.
Right.
It was great. I think it was great to see. I think it was great for the players to see as well, weren't it?
Yeah.
To see how the top players actually got back, and I can remember after the game was great. And I didn't expect nothing less of.
No,
they all came in the change room after. Mertesacker was excellent. I remember. Coming in, bringing the tops in, shaking and saying well done, wishing us the best for the season, and I think we took a lot away from that as well.
Alexis Sanchez was trying to swap the shirts with Alex Woodyard. They'd all come in the change room, hadn't they?
That's right.
Swapping all their shirts. I mean, they were class acts, and I can remember Alex Sanchez, he's giving Alex his shirt, and Alex is saying, "Can I have your watch?" Sanchez got his Rolex watch on. But no, they were brilliant. Arsenal just showed their class. I thought so. a lot of these Premier League clubs get criticised, but I thought on the day they were outstanding in the way they.
Yeah, they really went up in my estimation. I must admit that day. I mean,
really good,
great side to watch, but for the whole club was great on it. All right, and the feelings when we got the final whistle blew at Macclesfield at home, because it could have gone. I know we had a couple more games left to clinch it, but they was both away. Yeah. And we was desperate to do it. We was dead on his feet and we was desperate to do it in front of our fans. Yeah. So when we actually just got over the line... Yeah. Do you know what it was? It was, they have a chance, don't they? They have a cross. We'd got deep. He's headed it. It's gone over. I can hear Nathan Arnold who just come off the stands when the football gods are with us. Well, we said it's an honest game. All season, if we work as hard as we have, it'll come. Honestly, it'll come back to us. And thinking that moment. It did. Well, I can remember the referee. So the goal kick gets given. The referee goes to stand in position for the goal kick to take place, and I watch him. For whatever reason, I just was fixated on him and Farms. As he places the ball, I just see the referee moving to an unusual position, and he just starts to run. And obviously, he's thinking of the pitch invasion that's about to happen, and he's running towards the tunnel. And I just had this one moment. In terms of football, because you never want to compare it to having children, all those things, but in my football life, it's the best feeling I've ever had. I don't know if I'll ever get to that moment again. You have that sort of euphoric feeling when it runs through your body, and you're like, it just courses through you, doesn't it? And hairs on the back of your neck. In your playing career, there's nothing better, is there? I mean, like you say, on the football side, take your family and side of it. Football side of things, you can't really describe it. I watched him and I just thought, we've done it. Yeah, I remember I had the same feeling. I knew the pitch invasion. I knew everyone was going to jump on everyone, and I thought I'm just going to rage off a little bit myself. It was brilliant. See, I knew what was coming. More experience than them. You don't get them at Concord Rangers. I knew the fan was going to come on and give you a kiss, which must have been a low light. I put a little bit of a damper on it. Yeah, it was funny because I normally go to bed dreaming of that game and wake up in a cold sweat in the middle of the night with the supporter. Oh, absolutely. I can remember watching it. I mean, that's my cue, just to moonwalk off a little bit. You take a kiss from a man, didn't you, in those euphoric moments? Take a hug. I like a hug. A good man hug. I'm not sure the tongues was a bit... It was a bit inappropriate. Even on that moment, it's inappropriate. I can still taste it. No, brilliant. No, it was. And even talking about it now, it just gives you a and you will always remember, I think, for me, the first promotion was back in the day, 20 odd years ago and things like that. And still remember them like yesterday. So of course. What amazing achievement. I was just pleased for the boys because I knew how hard the players had worked and I knew how demanding we'd been of them. Absolutely. And they had to work long hours, invest an awful lot of energy and effort, and it's just nice from my point of view just to see them get their rewards. It's an honest game. They deserve. Exactly that. It's an honest game. Well, so last off then, so we've got to where we are in the league, and nearly at the halfway stage. Well, not quite. We've played about 20 games now. Yeah. Doing okay, going along nicely. We're working on it. Is there future plans for Lincoln? Yeah. Where do we see this taking it? I think for us, we've got to. We're working really hard away from the pitch to try to improve our infrastructure. I think that's really important. We'll try to use some of the funds we gained in our FA Cup run to buy a new training ground, which will be, as we all know, essential to our future development as a club. It will give us the opportunity to have a facility where we can start to develop the players even further, and also hopefully bring some of our own players through. Here and now, you never want to stand still, do you? Or you don't want to tread water, so you can't wait for tomorrow in football. So in the meantime, while we're trying to build the infrastructure and while we're making a transition from being a non-league team to a football league team, I think we've got to try to stay competitive, game in, game out, and learn fast. And if we can stay competitive and keep learning at the rate that we've learned so far, then we can be in and around it come the business end of the season. Fantastic. Well, it's been a great start, and I'd like to thank my manager, Mr. Danny Cowley. That's a great insight into the manager's mind and that, and fantastic. I really enjoyed that. Stories I didn't know there, to be honest, as well. So thank you very much, Dan. Cheers, mate.